right, here we go, Wack100. Welcome back to Vlad TV.
What's up, Vlad?
Well, you were just here, but we have a little situation that I want to discuss, and I could think of no better person than you to discuss it today. Now, as some of you may know, we booked Aaron the Plumber for an interview recently.
Yeah,
and for the first time, in 17 years of business, now we've had people not show up to interviews, but for the first time ever, we flew someone out, got him a hotel, got him transportation and so forth, and they decided not to do the interview.
Yeah, but you lost his luggage.
It's my fault.
You lost his luggage, and, he was hungry. And, I think it was something about the car, the delay of the car. Like, the car had to move. It had to move, so.
All right, I'm going to break down the whole story, okay? So we saw Aaron the Plumber make his rounds on social media and so forth. So we're like, okay. One of our booking guys, Mafi, said, hey, do you guys want to bring him on the show? We said, okay, this looks interesting. So Mafi started going back and forth with his manager. His manager wanted a certain amount of money. Mafi explained to him that we can't offer him any money at this point. If he does well and he becomes a repeat guest, then possibly at that point, just like yourself, your first interview.
Yeah, same way.
How much you get paid? Nothing. Now you get paid every time, right? And that's how it works sometimes with certain people. So we went back and forth, and they ultimately said, well, we're not going to do it for free. And we said, that's not a problem at all. Thank you for your time. And then we get an email from him directly.
I seen the email.
Pull up the email and read it. We'll show it on the screen as well.
I seen this email.
Okay. Read it for me, please.
This is crazy. This email says, this is from Aaron Sloan Booking, April 14th. I am livid after reading this email, and I have fired my manager currently, seeking a new one. If you have any recommendations, I want to do the interview. Even if it's for free. It will be greater later. Contact my cell phone directly if you're still interested, please. And we're not going to dox his number.
Right.
But what I am going to do, I want to call the number and see who answers. Let's see.
You going to call it right now?
Let's see who answers.
I'm sorry, the person you were trying to...
Going straight to voicemail. So.
We were calling that number, and he responded. We got him a plane ticket.
Yeah, I see everything, bro.
We got him the plane ticket. He arrived in New York on that night. It was a good airline. I believe it was JetBlue. And everything seemed like it was going great. Now.
Wait. Hold on. Let's complete this.
Okay.
So, April 8th, he says, this is, I guess, management. No worries. I have to do what's best for my client. Best luck. Tune into the fight in July. It's going to be epic, right?
Right. That's when you go back a little bit. That's basically
April 8th,
us.
But April 14th.
He followed up.
Right.
So April 8th was when when my people and his management agreed that the interview's not going to happen because there's no agreement on the fee.
Your people said, unfortunately, every guest doesn't receive an appearance fee, and he wouldn't be open to revenue sharing. I could have brought him back as a regular guest to discuss current events, and we could have negotiated a fee at that time. Right. We appreciate your consideration, but we pass it this time. This is Mafi, right?
This is his manager saying that we're going to pass it this time. Well, yeah, that's Mafi. Okay, I'm not sure what you're reading from.
Mafi says it's going to pass.
Exactly.
His manager says no worries.
No worries, exactly.
I have to do what's best for my client.
There you go.
Best of luck.
Exactly.
Tune into our fight in July. It's going to be epic.
There you go. So at that point, the deal was...
This is April 8th. It's over
April 8th, it's over with. We're not doing the interview. Everyone's cool.
6 days later.
6 days later.
This is Aaron Sloan Booking. I'm livid after reading this email, and I have fired my manager currently. I'm currently seeking a new one. If you have any recommendations, I want to do the interview, even if it's for free. It will get greater later. Right. Again, he says, I am livid after reading these emails. So he sees that Vlad has said, we're not paying you.
Right.
And his manager says, well, he's not coming.
And that's fine.
And now Aaron himself says, I fired him and I want to come for free.
Right, exactly.
Here it is.
That's the premise that all this was built off of. So he got flown in on a nice airline. He arrived, and apparently his luggage got put on a different plane. It wasn't stolen. It was put on a different plane. But here's the thing. Who in the hell checks in luggage for a one-day trip?
Nobody, so carry on.
Right, it's a carry-on. He's like, oh, I didn't pay for my own luggage. It's a one-day trip.
Well, here's the thing, right? I think all that was cap. Because even if your luggage is on another airline, right, and is on its way in, they're going to tell you when it gets in, they will bring you your luggage.
Exactly. You don't have to wait at the airport.
You don't have to wait at the airport.
Nobody does this. Nobody waits
You
at
don't
the
have
airport.
to wait at the airport.
Right.
And what flight? See, they don't know. Like, we could really go check if you want. We
Right.
could go check what flight left. Because I fly JetBlue going from LA to New York. JetBlue Mint, they got the best first class ever.
Yeah, I
Them
know.
in America, because the seats lay all the way flat.
Yep, that's how I
Right?
fly.
So, bro, if I could, those flights ain't back to back. Did he leave LA? Or he left?
I'm not sure where he left from.
Yeah, either LA, he's usually between here and Atlanta somewhere. But I saw him make his rounds around New York.
Right. So here's what happens next, right? So at some point he gets to his hotel, right? So the next day we're preparing to do the interview.
So the interview's not the day he came in.
It's the next day. So we padded it just in case something happens, right?
Yeah, okay.
So
So what is he mad about?
okay, so basically at that point, he gets to New York, right? And he's not answering anybody's phone calls. And then he does a post on Instagram saying, yo, Vlad got me livid. I'm about to go write some lyrics. And I'm like, huh? What? We're calling him from different numbers. We're texting him. He's not answering the phone at all. And then we see him start posting videos of him hanging out in New York.
Well, did you catch the other lie? Reason why I asked you that, because he said, what do you mean am I on my way over there to the interview? I just got off the plane. I've been walking through airports all day. I need to go shower and freshen up. But if the interview's not till the next day,
Right.
there's no need for you to say anything.
It's 1:00 the next day. You could have gotten your luggage delivered to your hotel room and so forth. Again, no idea why you got carry on. I mean, how many tank tops do you need? 100? Right?
real.
How many underwear do you need? 14?
Yeah, that's real.
Right. So he just stops answering his phone. We have security. We have, my staff ready to film. Like, I'm prepared to go into the city to actually do it. And he's not answering his phone at all, but he's posting videos of him hanging out in New York. And I'm like, whoa, this dude really feels like he's getting over on me right now. Then, out of nowhere, he posts this other Instagram that says, I'm in New York and I'm in trouble. I need help.
Yeah. He was trying to get some money.
Trying to get some money. And
He had a
then
round trip ticket, I'm sure.
and then he posted, yo, I'm in New York right now. If you try to shoot some content, have your money ready. I'm like, this motherfucker had me fly him out to New York for him to try to get content from other people and not show up to my interview.
Yeah, but it didn't make sense because that trip to New York should have been an investment in itself
Right.
by doing the interview and seeing what type of reaction they got. And I'm going to be real. I'm going to tell you straight up. I don't know who told you the book, dude, but it's usually a storyline that has to be there. Now, I don't know too much about him, so this could be my fault. Because I met him by my phone ringing and text messaging.
We'll get to that part of the story.
Yeah.
We'll get to that part of the story. I just want to go through where we're going here, and we'll talk about what happened with the whole Ray J situation and so forth. Okay, so by the next day after that, we're out a couple $1,000 between the flights, the hotel, the security, everything else like that. Then this dude posts a video saying that he's not going to be a slave by showing up. And, all the complaints about what we didn't do and how he had to pay for his own meal and everything else like that, and how he had sweaty balls because of us and whatever else. Now, the whole time, keep in mind, he didn't answer his phone. He could have been like, hey, listen, I'm having an issue. We would have just taken care of it. It's not a big deal. But he purposely didn't answer his phone the whole time. And at the end, he was like, yeah, even though I got the money, Vlad, you have to charge that to the game. You have to take that loss. Well, I don't think Aaron really knows me, but I don't.
What money?
Well, the money I lost on flying him out for his little free trip. He said, I got to charge that to the game.
So you telling me, let me get this right.
Yeah.
Because the people need to know this.
Mm-hmm.
I come from this industry. Although he didn't show up.
Yeah.
And he went dark on you.
Yes.
You kept his room booked.
Yeah.
And you kept his return flight booked.
That is correct. He got back on the same flight.
You're a
we had
good
booked.
guy. Because most people would have put a monkey wrench somewhere in there to force him to communicate.
Right. Well, we didn't do any of that.
You're a good guy.
It's not our style.
That's good business.
It's not our style. Only to have him turn around and make a video basically saying, yeah, he ripped us off for the money and that's going to be our loss. And I could run the fade if I got a problem with that. I'm 51 years old. I'm not running any fades. Okay. But I also don't charge anything to the game. I don't think Aaron knows me very well. So, number one, I'm going to earn that money back. I'm earning it back right now through this interview. I'll make more money off this interview than I lost in that situation. Well, right now, it is May 5th, 2025, and the trial of the century has begun.
Diddy.
Did
it start today?
Jury selection is beginning.
Yeah, they say the judge was cracking jokes.
Yeah, he kind of was. He was calling them all like different names and stuff like that.
Oh, he was like Puff Daddy. And
yeah.
I didn't hear it. I read it on something.
Yeah.
I don't know how he would take that, bro. I don't know if you could like kind of be amused. He's nervous as hell, bro.
Oh, he's terrified. He's got 8 lawyers.
Yeah.
Now, the prosecution is 5 white women.
They only use 5 people? They don't use 12?
Well,
in the feds,
the prosecutors?
Oh, the prosecutors.
Prosecutors. No, not the jury. The prosecuting team, yeah.
It's 5 white women.
5 white women. And the head prosecutor is the daughter of former FBI director James Comey. So they got the deep fed, connections. They're not playing. The daughter of the former FBI director. So when she needs extra favors to pull in some things that may not be totally legal and available, hey, Dad, help me out with this. This is the biggest thing. This is the biggest trial of her life right now.
Yeah, because if she loses this,
oh yeah,
they're not playing.
They're not playing.
They're not playing, and they definitely handpicked a real team. Yeah, they haven't offered him any deals.
Well, yeah, there was a rumor that he had a 5-year deal. This wasn't something that I really got from a credible source. It was something I saw floating around. Ultimately, it didn't happen.
He turned down the 5-year
No, I don't know if it happened. I don't think he did. I think he would have taken that.
Yeah.
I would have taken that.
Yeah, I hope he wouldn't have done that.
Well, right, because he has 5 charges from a superseding indictment on April 2025. Now, the original charges are racketeering with the maximum penalty of life in prison. Now, there's victim 1. Now, victim 1, there's sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Maximum life in prison, mandatory minimum 15 years. That's probably Cassie. Now, the same victim 1, there's transportation to engage in prostitution. Maximum penalty 10 years. Now, in April 2025, there were 2 superseding charges added for a victim 2. We're not quite sure who that is. But it's kind of the same charges. Sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, maximum life, mandatory 15 years, minimum mandatory 15 years. Transportation to engage in prostitution, maximum penalty 10 years. So those are the 5 charges. 2 victims plus the RICO. Now, there was some sort of plea deal that was rejected by Diddy. So now they're going to trial. He has pled not guilty to all the charges.
I wonder what they offered. They probably offered him like 20 years. He ain't doing that.
Yeah, no, he's not going to do it.
He couldn't live with, I can't appeal anything and I'm sitting here got to do 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Diddy prosecutors asked the court to let the accusers testify under fake names. Cassie's actually going to testify under her real name. And Diddy claims that he had a mental condition while committing these alleged acts.
Wait. So now he's saying he wasn't mentally there.
Right.
So he's saying he's like a sex fiend or something?
Well, hold on a second.
Maybe out of condition, he didn't know it?
Basically, what his defense argues is that he's a swinger, not a criminal.
So being a swinger is a mental condition?
Well, he was a swinger, and I guess he was just on drugs the whole time. Because even, a lot of people like Roger Bonds would say that basically Diddy would be high all the time. He'd be on pills or ecstasy or cocaine or the pink stuff or whatever the hell else. He'd wake up, get high, stay high all the time. He would go back to rehab all the time.
Oh, see, I didn't really follow.
Yeah, no, that's all there. That's all there.
The rehabs and...
The rehabs are all there. He was a drug addict. He was a junkie. I mean, it is what it is.
Diddy was a junkie.
Yeah.
The words of a Jewish guy.
Yes.
About a black music mogul. You called him a junkie.
I mean, this is his defense.
You didn't call him a junkie when he was on stage.
I didn't know he was a junkie when he was on stage.
You didn't call him a junkie on the television. You didn't call him a junkie. That's how they do you. You didn't call him a junkie when he had up your bottle, but now he's a junkie.
Now he's a junkie. Yes. Now he's a junkie.
Hey, yo, bro,
and that's going to be his defense.
I tell
He's going to say, I was high. I don't remember. And look, after all of these, they would have these 2-3 day freakoffs where everyone's getting high, and then they would all get IVs afterwards. Him, Cassie.
What the IV do? Now,
I guess that puts the nutrients back in your body after losing everything from the drugs.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a regular occurrence.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
In that case, I'm pretty sure there's some studies that show you're up 2-3 days and you're continuously consuming alcohol and taking drugs. At some point, and I don't know how this sounds, you're not in control. And if you're not in control, because of your irresponsibility, are you responsible for your actions?
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be the argument. I know someone that was very close to the case, and they told me that this case is actually 100% beatable. Because what it really is a domestic violence case that has ballooned into something way bigger because of the lawsuit and the media and the clout chasing from the feds. And now a domestic violence has turned into a RICO with multiple victims. This could be beatable, but what this person told me was Diddy would have had to sit down for a year and let his lawyers really put together a stellar defense. But he kept trying to speed it up. Remember all the bond requests over and over again? Denied. Let's do another one. Denied. Do another one. Denied. Like one after another. All three denied. He could have pushed it back, but he wanted a speedy trial. Now at the end, after Brian Steele joined, they asked for a 2-month extension. Judge said no. They should have tried that early on. By the time he was ready to go to trial, the judge said no. And the reason why the judge said no is because it's only one person. Usually when, it's all these different co-defendants, whatever else, it's like, okay, cool. We'll give you another 3-4 months. But one person, we are now in trial right now.
That aid attorney thing, it could work for him, it could work against him. Egos could start clashing on what the approach should be. Unless they have their... I don't know if I would want a Brian still on my case and I'm limited him to just researching this.
Right. Well, Brian's not the lead attorney.
Yeah, who's the lead?
It is Mark Agnifilo. Big time attorney.
Yeah. So he's facing life.
I don't know. Maybe, there is a maximum of life, but it seems like there is a minimum of like 15, 20 years for some of these.
Diddy's what, 54, 55?
Yeah, there's a mandatory minimum of 15 years. So if he gets a sex trafficking, minimum of 15 years. If he gets a transportation engaged in prostitution, no minimum, but a maximum of 10 years. Here's what I think will happen. I think the RICO will get dropped. The sex trafficking will get dropped. He'll get a transportation engaged in prostitution maximum of 10, but it's not like he put put a gun to someone's head and made him do it. They're going to see that the person probably went along with it. They were cool. Maybe a few years. I think that's the best case scenario. They'll get him on something, but I don't think it's going to be a RICO. Because it's not like Bad Boy was a criminal enterprise. It was a real company.
Well, what about the phone call?
When we called, the girl a whole bunch of times?
When he called the son.
Oh, that one with the pizza?
When he was making some threats about what certain people better do, or it's going to be some Netflix series or some crazy shit. You don't remember that? That's insinuating maybe he has something to bargain with. I personally think Diddy, if given opportunity, will give something up to get out.
But don't you think that would have happened already? Who are you going to give up once the trial starts?
He got 8 attorneys. Depending on what you got to give up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you dealing with a guy like Diddy, like we talking at least, what, a 30-year run?
Oh, yeah, easy.
At least a 30-year run?
Since the mid-'90s, early 90s.
30 years, okay, let's call it
more than 30
run.
years. Yeah, more than 30 years.
Yeah, so, brother, we don't know what Diddy's sitting on over there. But, man, bro, everybody just need to go get married.
What do you think will happen? If you were to guess right now on day one of the trial how it will end, what's your professional prediction?
I think somebody's going to get caught lying and Diddy's going to walk. I think something's going to happen on the defense side to blotch everything up, and I think he'll walk.
I wouldn't be surprised if he walks. I felt this whole case was bullshit.
I just can't see, like, damn.
Yeah, I feel the case is kind of bullshit. I feel out of all the cases that are happening right now, this is the easiest one to beat. That's what I think. I've been saying that, but we'll see what happens. I'm not a lawyer. I know a lot of lawyers.
Oh, yeah. Well, you don't like to talk about your guy, but you know you're missing some content, not covering the content.
Which content?
Bro, 20,000 wiretaps?
All right, let's talk about that. So just today, it was released that the feds have 20,000 hours.
No,
20,000 different wiretaps.
Wiretaps and 60 gigs of evidence.
On Big U.
Outside of they wanted him because they could have stopped at 1,000 wiretaps. They could have stopped at 500. But what's even crazier...
How long do these wiretaps go back for? How many years?
Well, we understand the investigations on the Rolling 60s and the Big U Enterprise started in 2021. But this is where I think things get crazier. I'm hearing there's a bunch of rock...
Sorry, I just want to interrupt you real quick. So they basically said that what they call the Big U Enterprise from at least 2010 until his arrest. So they've been watching this for 15 years.
They've been watching him?
Well, this case includes information from 15 years back.
That's a lot of damn wiretaps. That's a lot of information. What was shocking, though, is they're telling me a lot of the robberies were being fed to him and funded by the feds, meaning they will have a informant, right? Call somebody, if not him directly, and say, hey, this dude over here got this, got that, right? And it would get to him, and allegedly, he would put together the play, and they would go in and do their thing. But what they were going to do their thing on, he was working for the feds and robbing the feds at the same time. The whole robbery was set up by them to get to him for him to come get it.
Yeah, so the prosecutors wrote, in the shadows, Big U was secretly operating as a kingpin of criminal enterprise that ruled Los Angeles through violence, fear, and intimidation. In one intercepted call, Henley said, I'm retired, N-word, activist. I'll pull up on your block right now, N-word, and show up and show out, N-words. That's what happened to the last N-word that thought I was retired.
But see, even with that, like, I hear it, but he could have just been,
Just talking shit.
Talking shit.
That's what it sounds like.
You know what I'm saying? When I hear that.
Yeah, ask last motherfuckers thought I was retired. Like, that's just standard tough talk.
That's real shit.
You know what I mean? We've all said some version of that.
I've said on the side of somebody on the phone, what? I dare you to come through here, boy, we chop it down. This. And get off the phone and say, could anybody let me borrow a gun?
In your pajamas.
You just done told this dude, you over here, chop it down.
Right.
Boy, you wish you would. Like, it's like they're bluffing.
Yeah, man, listen, I hope he beats it and comes out. Like, I'm cool with Big U. Like, you know what I mean?
Bro,
Like,
I'm going to be real. 600 years, I haven't seen the list of witnesses against him.
Oh, that's not out yet?
We haven't seen that, brother. And I know it's going to be a whole lot. It's going to be a lot of people that got caught up. See, it's one thing to be respected. It's another thing to be feared. When you got a lot of people that fear you, they don't mind seeing you gone.
Yeah, I've always not tried for the fear part of it, ever. Yeah. I always felt that was a losing strategy on every level. Because people that fear you, plus people that fear you will overly retaliate just out of fear.
That's real.
That one guy who you think is a punk, you put him in a corner, deadliest person you'll ever deal with.
Yeah, it's they pushed the trial back to May of 2026.
Yeah, it might get pushed further than that.
Could.
It's a lot of charges, plus a lot of co-conspirators. What's going on with you and Luce Cannon right now? I've heard some interesting stories.
Well, you got a lot of these guys, man, that they come into this game and playing the game. And I'm one of those guys that been around. I've been around for a minute. And people that know me, it's funny because even he said it before. He said, man, you know what's dangerous about you? Something could be going on and you won't even be able to tell if you know what's going on. So, when you know certain things are going on and you test certain people, that's just like if you was to tell your editor, right? Hey, tell my security guard, you got somebody that'll buy all the equipment, right? Mm-hmm. Tell him, right, leave the door unlocked. Our guys gonna come in and get it, and then we'll cut the money up, right? You're telling your editor to tell your security guard this, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the security guard never says nothing to you, and you come back at 8 o'clock at night, right, and see the doors open, right?
Mm-hmm.
At that point in time, your security guard is not with you.
Yeah.
Now, some people will react, text, fire them, I don't want to see you again. You know what I'm the type of guy to do? Hey, editor, tell the editor, yo, they went by there, but it was some people in the parking lot. They gonna do it another time. And I'm gonna keep him right where I can see him. And I'm gonna sit there, I'm gonna give you a raise. Pat on the back. I'm gonna do all that. But what you do know is he's not with you. Now, if the security guard calls you, hey, Vlad, what up, bro? Hey, look, bro, your editor got at me talking about some wild stuff about this. Now you know he's with you, right? So I'll feed a person something to see what happens, and that had long been happening. So as he's running around and doing what the things he think he's doing, I really believe that his mission was to come in, infiltrate, think he can utilize me for my resources.
You're talking about Luce Cannon?
Yeah, try to get me to include myself in some things that he initiates, so then that backlash falls back on me, and get myself out the way. But he what he didn't know is, like, he should have known the day of the no jumper stuff. He should have known. And I don't know why his light didn't go off. He should have known that day, because I did something that day that should have told him, what you doing is not gonna work. See, he was trying to, I guess from it looks like, bait people in. But when he called one of the guys, right, you know what the guys told him? Wack called me and canceled. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I never told Luce Cannon I called the guy and canceled, because you're not supposed to be up there anyway. So that would have been, because that's really that would have been my thing. Why'd you cancel such and such? Because I didn't need him up there. Why are you worrying about who I'm canceling? You wasn't supposed to be up there. You come up there bringing some fake Christmas gifts to Adam, right? That's cool. But what he should have known is the minute he started doing what he's doing.
Talking about the brawl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I walked away. Nah, brother, you not pulling me into that. You not pulling my team into that.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? He should have known then.
Okay,
He should have known then.
So I'd heard a rumor that Luce Cannon has been separated from everyone else now. He's been moved to a different part of the jail, something.
Listen, this is what's going on. Everything he's trying to do to get out is being exposed, all right? First things first. He tried to get information on an open murder case that happened in L.A., right? He had his wife call me, right? And
talk about an open murder case.
Actually, let me. He had his baby mother, because his wife's name is Gigi, the real wife,
okay,
right? Who's been exposing everything. He had his baby mother call me and say, hey, Cannon called, and he says Big U's trying to put a murder on him. He was trying to put a murder on him. Talking about. Yeah, he says the guy, Money Mike. I said, well, Luce Cannon had nothing to do with that. He said, it's a video. I said, the video ain't no exclusive. I mean, it's floating around. I can call around and get it. Well, what does he need that for? To show that it's not him. So I make a few calls, I get it, I send it to her, right? So I wait a couple of days, right, Vlad?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, hey, did they give him the charge? No, not yet. And I said, by the way, how did Big U tell him this? Because first they were saying Big U, Brick Baby, and Luce Cannon are all together. We knew that was BS. Then it was Big U, then it was Brick Baby, then Luce Cannon says him and Brick Baby are cellies. We knew that was BS. And then when they get into it, when Luce bites Brick Baby and starts to say, yeah, he's run out of content, I had to put Brick Baby out because I got word he was snitching. Brick Baby comes out and says, ain't no Big U out here with us. Big U ain't trying to get me to sign no paperwork like Luce Cannon says. And when I called him out for a fade, Luce Cannon got loud in the day room. Not attacked him, not pulled out a weapon, got loud. We're gonna get to that too. So then look what happens. She says they were both down there getting their blood drawn and Big U screamed it out. Now I know Big U, right? I can pretty much imagine some things he will do and some things he won't do. I can't see Big U down here in the medical part and sees Luce Cannon and say, hey, I'm gonna put the murder of Money Mike on you. I just can't see it.
Right.
Now this is where the red flag went up. 2 days later, they on their calls, like they do, and she says something, and he says, well, you know I'm gonna be out soon. You just had two, like Puffy, two denials at bail hearings.
Oh, so they've been trying to get out and
Yeah,
and
they
failed.
done denied him twice at bail hearings.
Okay.
Based upon his criminal record, history, and they're saying more charges to come, as well as he has two active domestic warrants on Gigi, right? So there's nowhere they're letting him out. And he's under the RICO. He's named under the RICO, right? So what I said, what is he talking about? You know you're gonna be getting out soon. You don't have no court date arranged. You've been denied twice. Then the light came on. I said, yo, did they hit him with the murder? Right? I say, hey, I tell you what, call your attorney with me on the phone. Now, you know why I asked her this, Vlad?
What?
Because what has she done previously? Called the attorney with me on the phone.
Oh, but this time, no attorney.
This time when I say, call the attorney with me on the phone so we can go over that video on how that's not him. You wanted to go over other things on how it wasn't him. No, I can't do that. That's when the red flag hit. Then he uses the fake brick baby thing to claim they're moving me. They move him and his celly to the floor with Lil Durk. So I'm sitting back.
Yeah, that's how academics got the interview with Durk from jail.
Listen, yeah, but see, I'm gonna show you what's on his phone, right? And we see, okay, it's supposed to be an interview, whatever. Cool, right? I'm telling myself it's a little different because me and you both know Durk could make a call to anybody and get a goddamn interview, and he's been in there for quite some time, and he hasn't done any of these things, right? So I'm gonna send this to you, Vlad, in case you want to use it and put it up and add it, whatever.
All right, let's see it.
So the call happens. Durk gets on the line. He's talking to Act. Boom, 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 boom. People aren't joining it. Oh, we get to hear Lil Durk's voice. Boom, boom, boom. And then out of nowhere, his baby mother says, so Durk, do you feel like you're closer to your family now that you're in jail? Durk on the phone like, huh? Who is this? What do you mean closer to my family? Now, I've always been close to my family. But right then, I kind of seen the play. I said, oh, she's kind of inserting herself as if they all agreed that this was going to be an interview, right? So Luce Cannon gets mad and says something weird, and I get a text sent to me. Please let Wack know. Durk thought he was talking to Ack. He did not know he was being recorded. Just like he said, he didn't want to talk to nobody, but since it was Ack and he thought Buddy told him he didn't want to talk to him, so Luce say, Ack don't want to talk to me, want to talk to you. He's running the game on both sides. Ack, I got Lil Durk want to interview with you. Hey, Durk, Ack's on the phone, want to talk to you. He went on ahead and talked to him. He didn't know anything about that lady supposed to be interviewing him. This is crazy that he even did that, right? He said, I got you, sis. I'll let Wack know now. Y'all don't think he know how to call Ack on his own, right? So we got somebody up under Luce that he doesn't know. Because once we detected his ill intentions months ago, we start working our hand, right? And this individual sends us a thing that, hey, bro, let Durk know Luce is up there to get some information to see if he can. We know he trying to work this other situation, but because I've been so loud about what they asked me for, why they told me, the lie they said on Big U, and this, and that, and then yesterday, she goes on her live. See, she got to understand that she's a civilian and says, the only reason why Luce is not in the paperwork with everybody else is because our attorney asked for a continuance. I don't think she understands, brother, that in this paperwork, that just came out 2 days ago. Luce Cannon's attorney, along with the other people's attorney, all submitted reasons why they want to push the trial back. Luce Cannon's attorney said he has state cases. Everybody's attorney, and they put their cases in people versus whatever. But everybody that's in the RICO is identified in the RICO. But when it came down to identifying who is obligated to go to trial a year later, is everybody minus him.
Huh. But he's still charged, though.
There you have it.
Okay.
There you have it.
Guess we'll see what happens.
Look, it's here. We have the documentation, and we're gonna sit back and but ain't nobody crazy. We can't even find his minute orders from his bail hearings. We get brick babies, big U's, we get everybody's quick. His not available. So, at the end of the day, I kind of knew what I was dealing with. I didn't tell nobody. I told my team, actually. I told one guy that I had playing Judas. He knew what was going on. But I always kept, every time he would call, hey, bro, come over for Thanksgiving. Oh, man, I got something to do. Hey, bro, I got something to do, right? We wasn't doing that. I went to a bowling alley originally to talk business with him. The first time I took him up to No Jumper. I brought him twice. I sent him to academics. And then what I would do for him is I allowed him, and you know how important this is, to be able to tell people they can get Wack on the phone. Yeah, you know what? Wack could come with me if you'll let me in the door, right? Things like that. But other than that, I knew what I was dealing with, maybe 60%. The other, actually, I'm gonna say 40%. The other 60%, y'all gotta check out Big Gigi on YouTube. She got receipts. This is diabolical. This is like a movie. This movie should be called Habitual Liar. This dude, bro, because a lot of stuff I didn't see. Dude sat down with Cam Capone, and they said, he said he's a producer, which I know he did his own music. He said, well, what's one of your biggest songs? He looked dead at the camera and said, Bodak Yellow for Cardi B.
He wrote that, huh?
Bro, he said he produced it.
Oh, he produced it, right.
And
okay.
I'm telling myself, now I'm looking, I said, damn, I didn't see none of this. But Vlad, bro, does he not understand that you can go right to the thing and pull up who produced Bodak Yellow?
Right, Jay White did it and Laquan Green.
There you have it.
There you go. It was a simple Google right there.
Right, but his wife, Gigi, which is his wife, she has a child by him. She's been married to him legally. She's been dropping receipts and I kind of knew what I knew what I was dealing with, but I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know to what extent. It's like I don't even think it's all his fault. I think it's a sickness. For real, bro, because I think he really believes these things.
Yeah, I mean, I've had people throughout my life. I've had friends, and they're just kind of crazy. And, you kind of work around the craziness because deep down they are good people, but you got to just deal with the ridiculous lies along the way. You just kind of work your way around it. Yeah,
and it's a lot. It's crazy because everybody that he has with him, I know things that he done said crazy things about him. Like, I let the cat out the bag because the baby mama kept playing with me. So I said, yo, here you go. This is your baby daddy sending me a picture that you sent him saying you just had a miscarriage. Now, why he would send me this picture, I don't know. I get a picture of you pulling down your panties and it's bloody with napkins and all this. I said, yo, bro, what is this? He said, man, I didn't want the first baby. This dumb, stupid ass woman talking about she want 3, 4 kids. I'm glad it happened, right? So then she goes on a rant and gets mad at me for what he sent me. Don't get, why?
Yeah.
Why are you mad at me for what right? It's like he has this little thing over his little henchmen, the ones that, he got one dude that has never met him in his life, and he is fighting for this dude like he's his twin. Like, I asked Luce, I said, bro, you got a twin? Nah, we have the same birthday, but we 10 years apart.
Okay.
Okay, cool. How old are you? I'm 32. Okay, shit, all right. The business I'm doing with you, cool. He goes to jail, 42. He got 6 kids, 2 kids is 23, 22. So he couldn't claim them because that debunks the 32.
Right.
Right? So it's kind of like you dealing
He's actually 42. Okay.
You dealing with something that's different. And you know, I gotta say he's good at what he does on the people he's doing it with. But he's probably one of the most vindictive, careless, and I gotta use this word and it sounds crazy, evil persons I've met because of the things he says about his mother, things he says about her mother. When you're doing certain things with me, I'm like, yeah, shit, if he doing them like that, who am I? You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying, Vlad?
Yeah.
If he's doing, like, you know what I mean? Who am I? Right? So her mother, you know, I've heard conversations, you know, with him, you know, picking or dropping her off at the airport. That was crazy. I ain't gonna say nothing. You know, they could talk about that. But I'm pretty sure she digged through that phone up under a few other names and she understand it. But it's just, I don't know, bro. He was just one of them dudes to where he probably could have did great business if he did clean business, but he's another guy like Aaron. He wanted to be known. He wanted the fame. Back in 2021, he did a whole diss run on me when I didn't know him. I didn't know him. I seen it. He had a guy call me and say, "Can we pay you to respond?" I'm like, I don't know the dude.
Pay you to
I swear to
respond.
God, some dude called me like, "Can I pay you to respond?" I said, I don't know the dude, bro. Like, I'm not into all that. So by the time he came back around full circle, Wack, "Can I pay you to help me with the reality show?" I'm looking at him. And when he was doing certain things, it was crazy. He was like, yeah, would you be the godfather to my child? Once again, I'm not gonna say a word. I'm gonna promote the security guard who didn't tell me. Yeah, no problem, but I'm not gonna be the godfather. I tell you, yeah, no problem. I'm the godfather to somebody's child. We go do a ceremony. It's things I'll do, things so on and so forth. I own a whole diaper company. I ain't never gave you a diaper, so you play the game, I'm gonna play the game. You BS me, I'm gonna BS you.
Right.
No problem, I'm 10 steps ahead of you, and I'm sitting back watching you show up, and you not knowing that I've already came back to you, and listened to you tell me all about where we're going. But, you know, at the end of the day, and he's still on the phone like, yo, if the lady loves him, if the people, this lady Gigi, is telling his little henchmen, if you keep mentioning my name, I'm gonna turn in enough things to the feds that he'll get 50 years. She's telling them this. Listen, bro, if you were in there and Adam and I'd be like, yo, check this out, bro. Leave her alone.
Yeah.
Right? She has things. Leave her alone. Stop. I don't care what Vlad is telling you to do. Why? Because she's telling him, hey, dummy, you remember the phone you thought you were pimping me on? The phone I went and got you under my account? Well, it's connected to my iCloud, shared to my iCloud. So because you like to film everything you do, I have everything. And she's been leaking it, little tad bits of it. You know what I mean? You see it. And I'm like, yo, do y'all really got love for this dude? Because if you did, leave Gigi alone, right? And I believe the baby mother, she's playing a role, and I really didn't want to go here on him. I was gonna sit back and watch the show, but she kept initiating, like coming at me. She would just disrespect me for no reason. This lady never said nothing. They say, well, why you didn't say nothing to her when Luce was out? Because when Luce was out, she never said none of these things. Best believe, I don't care where we at, what room we in. If your woman say something to me, I'm gonna look at you and say, bro, you gonna handle that? If she continues to disrespect me, I'm gonna say something back. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. But for her mind to say, all I did was call him this and all I did was call him that. I mean, I get it. You know, she comes from being available. You get what I'm saying? Like, everyone think about it when shit happens everybody starts to call me. You know what I mean? It's a whole lot I know that I just haven't said, but you know, at the end of the day, I hope he understands that everything around him is working against him because the people that they have turned on him are the people that can hurt him the most or help him the most. So, you know, at the end of the day, and listen, we watched Diddy get in trouble for three-way calls.
Right.
Right? Diddy wasn't threatening nobody. He wasn't none of that. This dude is on the phone, getting recorded, putting it out on YouTube, calling social media platforms, talking greasy and crazy, and not one time has he had a restriction. He's on the phone saying, yeah, send such and such the money so I can use his phone time. She's on the phone saying, yeah, the guards let him out when the facility is locked down so he can use the phone and call in. Listen, we know that's cap, but the fact that you're so loud with it.
Yeah, it's all being recorded.
And the fans already let you know that they're listening to everything.
Of course.
He's still on the phone because they want you
To be on the phone.
And I don't get it.
Well, the Lil Durk case. I just interviewed Drew Findling, who is the lead lawyer on this case. Now, what's interesting, and we went through the whole case, and you can watch the interview right now on Vlad TV, but after the interview, there is a new superseding indictment that came through. Stalking resulting in death.
We talked about that today.
Okay, well, hold on. There's a couple things.
I don't get that.
So they added this superseding indictment, and they removed all the allegations that have to do with the lyrics, because Drew showed that there was a song where they said was talking about the murder of Lil Pab, and there was a scream in the background that sounds like Quando Rondo's scream from the news footage. Well, Drew managed to prove that this recording was done 6 months before the incident ever happened, and that whole scream was actually done by YouTubers just adding that on top of it to try to put some extra sauce on the song.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But hold on, stop right there. You see that?
Yeah.
YouTubers, people on social media, added that, released it. Feds grabbed it and said, this is real.
Correct.
That's crazy, bro.
That's crazy. Now, here's something that's very interesting, though. Me and academics talked about this the other night. Everyone's focusing on the stalking resulting in death charge, which honestly is sort of a weird charge because
he wasn't there.
Well, it's all part of the murder for hire anyway. So the fact that they're stalking on the way to the murder for hire is still a murder for hire. The murder for hire is going to supersede whatever other subcharges are, right? It's going to be a life in prison regardless. You had a stalking charge, doesn't really matter.
Who is telling them that Durk paid them to do the murder?
So here's the thing. This is something nobody has noticed until I brought this up with academics. In the superseding indictment, because when you do the superseding indictment, you have to also put in the old indictment as well, right, to have it complete. Paragraph 9 from the original indictment has been removed. And this is what paragraph 9 says. At the direction of defendant, Banks, defendant Wilson would pay the bounty or monetary reward and or cause payment to be made for the killing of SR, that's Lil Pab, on behalf of co-conspirators known and unknown to the conspirators hired to kill TB, Quando Rondo. Essentially, the murder for hire paragraph is no longer part of the indictment. The actual payment for the murder.
Why you think I just asked you that? I said, brother, for it to be a murder for hire, somebody has to say they've been paid. It has to be a wiretap, or it has to be something there to show.
Or there has to be some sort of proof of a promise of payment. The payment coming through doesn't necessarily exclude you from being convicted of a murder for hire. Stiffing somebody on a payment, doesn't save you, right?
Who are these people who said we were promised? Because all I hear is flights were paid, rooms were paid. But I do know Durk had an interview with academics that day. Right? He's coming in from Miami. You coming to LA. He gonna fly his team in.
Yeah. Wilson is OTF Diddy. Right? That's who they said is handing out the payments and got the payment information from Durk. But that paragraph has been taken out, which makes me think that whatever statements they've made or whatever else is starting to kind of fall apart a little bit in that category.
So how did he feel about it, the attorney?
Well, this was done after our interview, so I don't know. And if I did, that'd be a private, conversation I had with him off camera, right? I'll just leave it at that. But this was not there, and, this was there, and now it's not, which makes me think that some of the witnesses they've lined up to say that everything is coming from Durk seems like they're not really standing behind that the way the feds thought they would, or maybe some of the evidence might not be lining up the way it is. Because look, at the end of the day, Durk was not there. He was not a shooter. He was not in the car. He didn't get the ski mask. He didn't get the guns.
Nothing.
This whole case will stem on people cooperating. If they can get people to say Durk put us up to this, and their stories are consistent, then Durk is cooked. If their story starts being flip-floppy, this person's version of the story is different than this person's version of the story, Drew Finley will tear him apart on stage. And then you have a reasonable doubt, potentially. We shall see. Now, the feds responded. They said defendant Banks has presented a false narrative that he's being prosecuted and detained because of his violent lyrics. The claim is it has always been baseless. He should remain detained pending trial. Now, there's this other case, and we talked about this. There was the whole murder of the guy who allegedly killed his brother, D thing, and they're trying to kind of put him in that vicinity. They're trying to tie him into it, and they're probably going to use that to make sure he doesn't get bail, but he's not officially tied to that murder. But it seems like law enforcement in general has been trying to get Durk for a while, over and over and over again. It seems like they've always failed, and now they're just kind of throwing the whole book at him. So we'll see. It's an interesting case.
We going for the gusto.
Yeah.
If it work, it work. If it don't, it don't.
Yeah. It's an
So they
interesting
denied
case.
his bail, dropped the rap lyrics, added the stalking. Now, what about this guy who allegedly got caught with a switch, who Durk told the world that he blessed him with 50 grand.
OTF Jam.
As a homie, like it wasn't a secret. I believe if Durk was giving him 50 grand to commit a criminal act, he wouldn't have told the world, right?
Right.
They're telling me he was actually in Los Angeles.
Oh, really? You're saying
telling
OTF
me
Jam was in LA?
He got caught with a switch, and they're telling me he's kind of the one saying the 50 I got paid was for that. But it's weak because that was to the world. He just was blessing him.
Yeah, I don't think that
But if you
Durk will
get this
publicly
dude-
announce, here's a payment, which is secretly for a murder, but I'm not going to say that part, but here's the payment anyways.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
ridiculous.
So,
If I pay someone for a murder, I don't know what the fuck you're
but
talking
it goes
about.
back to what you're saying.
I didn't pay no one nothing.
It goes back to what you're saying. Maybe some of the people that gave some statements are kind of like,
Yeah. Well, that's not exactly what I meant. And look, what's interesting, and we talked about this with Drew, like all this stuff you're seeing in these state cases, Woody getting on stage, changing a story, cracking jokes, making fun of the prosecutor and whatever else. The Tory Lanez case, Megan's friend getting on the stage, changing her whole story and forgetting who paid for legal bills. Like all this stuff that happens, these are all state cases. This doesn't happen on the federal side. You give your statement and you agree to cooperate, you're getting on that goddamn stand and you're saying exactly what you wrote down, or else you're going to do life in prison. Take your choice. There's no deals that you could just switch up on later on.
so whatever they have is going
It's going to hold. But the question is what they have. And look, I mean, Drew also represents NBA YoungBoy.
I've been seeing a bunch of stuff. I just saw
He
somebody
did Big
interview
Meech.
with you.
He represented Big Meech.
No, but somebody was just interviewing with you, and they was questioning NBA YoungBoy's time. I saw something pop up.
I'm not sure.
It was somebody. Somebody was like, how did he do 2 years on something?
Yeah. I mean,
I believe I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I think NBA got a lot of time for that ankle monitor.
Yeah, the time served when he was in Utah. Yeah, probably.
I believe, I haven't looked into it, but if I wanted to guess, because he was locked up in that house for a couple years.
Yeah, and he's out now.
Yeah, he's out now.
Well, your friend Kanye, a whole lot has happened since our last interview.
What? What did Ye do? He did something?
Yeah, the song Cousins.
What did he do?
In the song Cousins, he admits to giving his male cousin head when he was 14 years old and his cousin was 11.
Oh, he was, I never knew how old, I didn't know who was the oldest.
He was
This
older.
is new. I knew about what he said he did.
He was older. He was 14. His cousin was 11. According to the song, they found some gay magazines, I guess, and they decided to act out what they saw.
Those are magazines he found in his mother's.
I guess.
Got you.
Look, here's the interesting part. Me and Ak were talking about this the other day. I reached out to a whole bunch of people that actually know Kanye about this story, and they all said, yeah, that actually happened.
He said it happened. Why would you question it?
Well, because sometimes people are trolling. So,
They don't troll about. See, y'all
man,
think,
people troll about everything. No, I don't. Listen,
He ain't
Lil
not
B
trolling.
had an album called I'm Gay.
Who?
Lil B. Remember back in the day from the
Yeah.
Bay? He had an album called I'm
Yeah,
Gay.
but
He's
he
not
ain't
gay.
not-
But he was trolling with the gay thing. Young Thug was wearing dresses, okay, and calling people like lover and, all that type of stuff when Young Thug's not gay either. So don't tell me that people don't troll about being gay when they're really straight. It really happens. It happens.
Brother,
It happens.
here goes the thing with y'all. And y'all got to kill this troll thing. Because when people do it and they get a bad reaction, oh, it's a troll. But if they do it and it's not a bad reaction, they own it.
Well, like I said, this is a real story.
Do you think anybody in your family,
Yeah.
cousins, uncles,
Yeah.
all that, right? Growing up, experimented?
I'll be honest, not that I know of. If it happened, it happened. I'm not saying I'd be surprised.
That's what I'm
but
saying.
I wouldn't be completely shocked
That's
because
what I'm saying.
kids are kids.
Listen, I'm thinking about it,
You
right?
know, I started, making out with girls and feeling them up at like 13 and, lost my virginity around 16. So, yeah, I was underage doing stuff
So, no,
should
so
or
what
should not have been doing. It is what it is.
What I'm saying is...
But I wasn't doing that.
No, what I'm saying
I wasn't
is...
doing that.
Just keeping it real.
Yeah.
Right? I can remember in a lot of households, there used to be a problem with how much hot water was going to be available. It's real shit.
Okay.
So they would say, you got a brother that's 10, another one that's 12. You guys get in the shower together. Not even understanding that what you were doing. This is real stuff, right?
Okay.
Y'all get in the shower together, right? Not understanding what you're doing. It. People may have come across some magazines or saw something on television or got curious or whatever reason. Whatever, right? So I say that to say this. It's a lot of people out there that have experimented, tried something, but didn't necessarily stay with it. So now it goes back to what somebody does as an adolescent or a minor. With a minor, do you call them gay? Because the rule of thumb has always been, if you do something with somebody of the same sex, we're gonna call you gay. The only time they gave a little leeway is if an adult molested a minor
Yeah.
and he had no decision in it, right? But in this situation, unless other things has happened that we don't know about, would you, Vlad, say, because of his admittance to what he did, because he said he performed the act, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you call Ye gay?
Yes.
Are you saying yes because his stance against the Jewish community?
No, not at all. Not at all. And here's my reasoning. I was exposed to porn around the same age, right around 14, 13, first Playboys, and then, my friend Mark brought home porno, during junior high. We watched it in my living room. My parents were gone and so forth. I could clearly tell you at no point during that time, no matter how much porn I watched, because I got other tapes and so forth around that time, never want to suck a dick. Just never did. Just never even, crossed my mind. Nope, didn't want to do it. I can tell you that. Now, did I want a girl to give me head? Absolutely. Did I want to go and do that at 14? And at 14, you kind of know you're not just a child, you're just oblivious to the world. No. You know what you're doing at 14.
No, not at all. He definitely knows what's going on.
Yeah, 14.
So you would say that?
Yeah, I think he wanted to suck a dick and, and look, and I've heard all types of interesting stories. Now that this is coming out, now I'm hearing other stories of different artists that were signed to Kanye that allegedly, did some stuff with him. I'm not totally sure because the source is, sometimes right, sometimes not. But, I mean, look, you have someone on the caliber of Kanye who's so huge. When you have new artists come around and they have the chance to have their lives changed by someone of his caliber, and all they got to do is a little something behind closed doors, would you be totally shocked if that's really what happened?
So you say you think Diddy's guilty? Uh-oh. Curveball.
Do I say he's guilty of those things if they could actually prove that? But did Diddy...
Do you think Diddy's guilty of doing these things because artists come around and they being propositioned in the back of their head, if I do this, my life's going to change? Do you think Diddy participated in those type of things?
Possibly. I see where you're going with this. I think it's a good point. I think it's a good point. I think it's a similar point.
And if so, do you think Ye may have been one of Diddy's victims?
I don't think so, because I don't think the two of them have they really worked together a lot? I know they've done some work, but have they? I've never really seen Diddy and Kanye doing a bunch of shit together.
I'm going to say this. If Ye carried on the behavior after the fact, well on to be an adult, then I'm with you. But if the buck stopped there, I wouldn't call him gay.
Well, I will also say this, right?
Although where I come from,
yeah,
we gonna call it gay.
Right.
14, I'm doing time already. I'm locked up.
Yeah.
So I'm with you, you know what not to do.
Right.
But some of these children grow up in some of these households to where it's a little different. And they experimenting. I've heard stories from women, they experiment things when they was kids together. I don't know. So you're saying even if the buck stopped there?
I feel if I look at all the gay men I've interviewed over the years, and it's got to be at least a dozen, if not more. I don't remember a single one that did not have some sort of gay experience as a child.
Gotcha.
Whether most times
it carries on.
By older kids or adults and so forth, there's always been some sort of gay situation that happened while they were really young. And then, they'll say, oh, but I think I've always liked boys. But I really feel like a lot of times when you get introduced to something as your introduction to it,
you continue to do it.
It doesn't seem so bad because this is how you're introduced to it. And there's probably some positive feelings associated with it. If you weren't like molested by, if it's kids a similar age and so forth, it's not as bad as like your grandfather doing or something nasty like that. So I don't know. I don't think it's a coincidence that so many gay men have had some sort of gay experience as a child out of their control or whatever else, and then they end up being gay. I didn't have anything gay happen to me as a kid.
Yeah, me either.
I could say that clearly, and what's funny is I think about this sometimes. I remember when I had a paper route, the guy that was the facilitator that worked with all the kids wanted to take me out and try to find some new subscribers and take me out for Burger King. My parents were like, no, absolutely not. And I'm like, okay. In retrospect, I'm like, damn, was I going to get molested that day? Like, I'm thinking about that. but nothing's ever happened to me. I've always been heterosexual. I've always liked women. I've never been exposed to various things. Even Jeffree Star has hinted that him and Kanye has done something recently. He's like, the rumors are true, right? When the whole Kanye thing came
but then
out.
again, I'm going to go back to what you're saying. Maybe he's trolling.
Maybe he's trolling. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I have to say, my people in this industry, the moguls, are under attack.
This is true.
They are under attack. So I have to give them the benefit of the doubt to say, if he ain't saying that, then I'm going to roll with it.
Well, he even said he's gay in one of his live streams. Like, yo, I'm gay.
Now, he might be trolling, but then again, you know what? If Ye said that, I'm going to believe it.
I mean, look, he also admits...
Did he say, if y'all saying this, then screw it then? Did he say it like that?
Kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah, but then no, that's just him saying, I told y'all what happened when it happened, and the buck stopped there. But if y'all want to push that, so what? That's what it is now, what? I don't think he just came out and said, I'm Ye coming out the closet, I'm gay.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, look, the name of his new album, he says, is called Cuck, which is short for cuckold.
Oh.
I have heard the cuck stories before. Is that gay? Watching a guy smash a girl? I don't know.
That's gay to me.
I mean, Adam will probably argue.
I don't do sword fights. Ain't no more swords in the room, brother.
Right.
Nah,
you are the star of the show. There's no co-star. There's no supporting actor.
I be hearing people saying, yeah, man, growing up, me and the homies didn't do none of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, Kanye's also suing his dentist for getting him addicted to nitrous.
What do you mean?
He
chose that form.
He is suing his dentist. Him and his wife are filing a lawsuit against his dentist for getting him hooked on nitrous oxide.
Now, somebody about a year ago, I saw an article where they were saying Kanye was addicted to nitrous oxide.
Right.
And they knew his supplier. Is the dentist a supplier?
Ye's team claims that while under Dr. Connolly's care, the dentist engaged in numerous inappropriate and dangerous practices that are far outside the bounds of any legitimate medical purpose or standard of care. Among this inappropriate behavior, Connolly gave him excessive amounts of nitrous oxide for non-medical purposes, permitting and encouraging unsupervised self-administration of the gas and continued treatment despite adverse neurological and behavioral signs. And he also said he, at one point, abandoned Ye, withdrawing his care abruptly without a proper transition because he saw the dependency on the nitrous. I don't know. I'm always very weird about people becoming an addict and blaming someone else for their addiction.
So, what I'm saying, was this administered for him to do a dental procedure?
Yes, but he's claiming that he kept giving him nitrous after the fact, which is weird. I've never heard of a dentist giving you nitrous when there's no longer a procedure.
So is this a situation?
Is it like a Michael Jackson situation, maybe, where you got someone...
Where he was approached and asked, and he made a decision to do it. And now they're suing him because you did what I wanted you to do. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. I mean, his chief of staff, Milo Yiannopoulos, claimed that the doctor provided gas to Ye for money. Now, the doctor fired back at this claim, says it's not only factually correct, but also intentionally misleading. So I guess him paying for the nitrous, the doctor has already said that's just not true. I don't know.
You better say that.
Yeah. Right.
So it's like a whistleblower. Listen, a whistleblowing situation.
Right. I mean, you see the Michael Jackson situation. You had a doctor that lived with Michael Jackson that was giving him the type of stuff that I had for an operation once. That I had to be completely unconscious. I remember they even mentioned, like, oh, this is what Michael Jackson got. And I'm like, I'm not going to die. I'm like, oh, no, we're going to be here to make sure you're good. But Michael getting this stuff just to sleep was insane, which ultimately killed him. So listen, you have doctors who are starstruck just like everyone else. That will just fudge the lines and just do whatever for their clients just so they could say, oh, Kanye's my client. I don't know, man. It's a weird situation.
It sounds to me like he went in for a procedure, liked the feeling of it, called him back, asked him to get some more. Doctor made a decision to give him some more. Whatever happened. He paid for it. Continued to do that back and forth. I believe Ye got hooked on it. And now in his mind, it was on you not to give it to me when I asked you for it. No, this is how he's coming.
You're right.
It's on you not to give it to me.
Now I'm going to sue you for it.
When I asked you for it, right? Because watching Ye's moves, I don't think y'all understanding how he's coming, right? The dude that got caught with the AK-47 that came from overseas, or the drugs that came from over here, the cops are gonna say, well, you got caught with it. He can't say, well, it came from overseas, can we blame the government, right? They gonna say, you made the decision to do this, right?
Right.
So Ye's saying, okay, God damn it, I'm the government, right? I'm the victim right here, right? I'm doing the prosecuting. Who is this guy? Is he white dude?
Yeah.
There it go. Is he Jewish?
I don't know.
What's his last name?
Connolly. Doesn't sound Jewish.
No?
No.
Okay, so there it goes. So now Ye saying, I'm prosecuting y'all the same way y'all prosecuted us. Watch this. I'm making money off y'all the same way y'all make money off us. Bro, his whole approach, right, is he's the Antichrist. I'm the savior. I'm the sacrificial lamb. And he doesn't care because think about it. The guy, in a sense, was being a friend to Ye by honoring what he asked for.
Right.
But now Ye's saying, okay, I'm going to give them something they didn't gave a lot of us. So I think Ye's just making an example. Like it's everything he's doing right now is in his own world, is justified off of what he perceives has happened to the people, his people, our people. I think that's what he's on. Cause it's like he on some whistleblower type.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can't imagine he needs the money, right? Suing a dentist when you're Kanye, you're suing a dentist. Not like a whole like, medical insurance company. He's not suing Blue Shield. So
why else would he be doing it?
He's suing one dentist who probably has one office.
So Vlad, why else would he be doing it? You know what I'm saying? It's all part of his movement.
Maybe if he thinks the guy's getting sued, he'll give him some more nitrous.
Hell no, he ain't gonna have no nitrous to give nobody. They gonna gas his ass somewhere. Well, is he in country or out the country?
I think he's in L.A.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I actually looked him up on Yelp. Yeah. So this is close to you. Suge Knight agrees to pay $1.5 million for a settlement to avoid the hit-and-run trial for the death of Terry.
This was civil, right?
Yes. So he had a statement. Terry was a friend of mine. It definitely wasn't done intentionally. It wasn't done to bring harm to him. One of the reasons I settled is I got respect for Terry, so that means I've got respect for his family. I don't want to put the family through more pain. It's not that I did anything wrong. I never would have, but I do owe the family an apology because of this thing they had to go through. So I guess Terry Carter's wife, Lillian, and daughters Nikaya and Crystal will be getting $500,000 each. Terry's widow said, it's hard living without him. When I lived all these years with him, it's been very, very difficult. I've been in pain ever since January 29, 2015. I haven't had a good day, not one good day. I'm not happy with the outcome of it at all, but I don't want to give him another opportunity to put on a clown show and act like a bitch. Maybe somebody will shank him in jail. Wait, is this real?
Wait,
what?
Who said that? The wife?
Wait.
Come on.
Wait. I did not read through these notes ahead of time.
This your first time? Hey, wait, bro.
Wait, this can't be real.
Yo, wait. Listen, bro. I was just getting sentimental a little emotional. I'm like, damn, man, that's some heartfelt stuff Suge
Yo,
said.
look, this is
I was going to keep it real.
Hot New Hip Hop wrote this down. This actually comes from a relatively legitimate news source.
So that's her response.
Maybe somebody will shake him in jail.
I don't want him to give him to respond like a bitch.
I'm not happy with the outcome of it at all, but I don't want to give him another opportunity to put on a clown show and act like a bitch. Maybe somebody will shake him in jail. What's that?
Did he take the stand? I don't know.
No. He's settling before it goes to court. He's settling for 1.5 million. Number one, does Suge Knight have 1.5 million?
Absolutely not. Not right.
Okay, so this is just.
But I will tell you this.
So he might as well sell for $1 trillion. Doesn't matter at this point.
I will tell you this.
Okay.
I don't really deal with Suge, and he know why. But he did not do that intentional. That was his friend.
I agree.
I would tell you, about 2-3 weeks or maybe a month prior to that, me and Suge got into it behind him and Terry trying to run up in our guy's office when he was on Ventura. So they were partners. And they didn't try to, I think they just went over there unannounced. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I believe it was accidental.
Now, Terry Carter, wasn't he one of the founder of the Bloods?
No.
No?
No, Terry was from West Side Palm Road.
Okay.
That's just one of the original neighborhoods.
So was he
in Compton.
The founder of the Pyrus?
He had no.
Okay. Sorry.
He had a label called Heavyweight Records back then. He was a guy everybody throughout Compton knew, but geez, Suge, I believe he was being sincere what he was saying. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, for one, he probably ain't got the money to keep paying attorneys. Two, whether you get 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, I can't pay you right now anyways. He's not due to come home till like 2034.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, he tried to get his case thrown out. The judge said no.
No, they denied it.
They denied it.
So while he's sitting in there, I mean, unless, anything he does from in there, he can't do under his name anyway. Son of Sam law is not going to allow him to, even if a movie or anything was to come out and they attacked it, that's when we will know if Suge is being sincere. If a movie or anything happens that he's behind, if he's being sincere, then he will make sure they get paid. You get what I'm saying? He won't play the game. Mm-hmm. It's under my wife's name, under my kid's name, or so on and so forth. However it plays out, he'll make sure they get paid. It's closure to the family, I guess. It's been 10 years, bro. Jeez, he's been gone 10 years.
Yeah, it's a long time. Yeah, look, I don't think that he meant to hit Terry. When you look at the video, there was,
He didn't.
He was probably trying to hit Bone.
On the bag up. On the Bone was here, yeah, but...
Well, no. He backed up and then he went forward again.
Yeah, he hit Terry. Terry was...
He backed up,
I don't want to misspeak, but if I can remember the conversations back then, I think Terry was kind of like trying to get across in front of him. I don't know if he like fell, was falling a trip, or when Suge got on the gas, because he was in one of those raptures that set a little high. Mm-hmm. I don't believe he knew he hit. I don't think he seen Terry when he hit him. I think his attention was on Bone.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I think Terry was an accident. I think you take Suge Knight out of the car and put a little old lady in there, and I think she would have walked free. But Suge Knight, unfortunately, has to live up to this image that he developed over the years.
No, I hate to say it. Suge Knight on the phone in the LA County Jail got him in trouble. Remember the trial was supposed to start?
Yeah, what did he say?
The day the trial was supposed to start, they took him in the back of the chambers. They let him hear himself. If I'm not mistaken, they had between 150 and 300 hours of his phone conversations.
Damn.
Now let me remind you of something else. The judge had took away his phone privileges.
Huh.
He used to call me, I'd be like, hey bro, how you getting on the phone? Just like this other dude down there in the federal building, right? He said, oh, they bring me to the roof in the cage or whatever. I said, bro, you better watch what you're saying on the phone. They're allowing you to get on the phone. The judge has said he couldn't even get regular visits. He couldn't get regular visits and he couldn't use the phone. So he was on the phone and forgot what phone he was on, orchestrating. And what they did, they said, if you don't take this deal we got here for you today, your sister, your niece, and your father, we gonna lock them up.
Right. Well, his own lawyer got hemmed up in that situation.
His own lawyer went to prison.
Got charged and lost his law license.
All of that.
Trying to pay off witnesses and all this other type of stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. All that. I remember the whole thing was a clown
He didn't even
show.
go on with the trial. He didn't do one day of it. That day, he took a deal for 28 years.
28 years. Yeah, I remember. I remember.
So the phone got him caught up. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't believe he did it on purpose, though.
No, I think it was an accident. And I almost think if it was anyone but Suge, like you throw me in that car, right? Throw me in that car. I go out to Compton.
Beating you up through the window.
Yeah, right. I go out there to work out some business deal over something that has my name associated with it. And then some big dude starts punching me in the face through the car door. I back up. And I'm just so flustered because I got a black eye and, my jaw's messed up.
And just previously, you got shot 5 times.
I just got shot 5 times, so I got PTSD going on. And I'm just trying to drive up out of there because I think someone's got a gun, right? I can't tell if it's a walkie-talkie or a gun. There's too much going on. And in the process, I killed my friend who I came there with. I think I'd have a pretty good defense.
Now,
maybe a manslaughter at the most.
Yeah, to correct you, it didn't happen at the film site. They end up.
Yeah, they went somewhere else to talk.
Bone left, went somewhere else.
Yeah.
I believe Terry
Tam's
was
parking
trying
lot.
to play mediator. He knew both of them.
Yeah.
Called Suge to pull up. When he pulled up, Bone didn't want to do no talking. Suge is really in jail for being scared to fight.
Yeah, I would say.
Because he had a part.
I think that's fair.
And got out and fought.
Yeah.
Then none of that would have happened. So he really.
Yeah.
And just, so because of that, he want to fight Bone. Bone gave him every reason to want to fight him, right? You was woofing over there in front of them police. Okay, we over here now on the west side. Jump, hitting him. Suge could have got out the car. He chose not to. Do it in reverse, threw Bone off the car. He might have ran Bone over, did something. And on his retreat, that's when he ended up running over his friend.
Yeah.
But that was a savage comeback from the wife or the daughter. I hope he gets shanked in prison.
Yeah, that was crazy. The whole thing with Doherty 6, I guess he became homeless even after being on GNX on the song Hey Now. And he said, I lost my house, I'm homeless, I fell down, but I'll bounce back up, watch this, it's all good. Man, that fucking song with Kendrick ain't changed shit, what the fuck does that change? I'm still from the 40s, still over here. You act like a motherfucker got $1 million. What's next? The fuck? Only thing I got is some clout and fuck clout. Later on, he apologized to Kendrick, and said he didn't,
Well, I mean, Kendrick did what he was supposed to do for him. He was supposed to take
Kendrick did a massive favor for him.
He was supposed to take that opportunity and capitalize, but it comes down to having the homeboy management or not management. I talked to him. He called me about
Doherty?
2 a.m.
Okay.
Called me on Instagram phone. And he told me, he said, I lost my house, this, that.
Well,
He said he had a
what does
deal.
losing your house have to do with getting a feature on a major album? Did you go buy a new house as soon as you got the feature?
He has a deal somewhere, and somebody owes him some money. I forget the name of the company. But he was upset. He got a DP or something. Something happened at his hood.
DP is when you get beat down for
Yeah,
something.
You got discipline.
Is that so? What does it stand for?
Discipline.
Oh, so DP discipline.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
So I believe the reason why they said they DP'd him is what he had a problem with.
Which is?
If I can remember, he said they told him he was changing up. Like he was becoming something else as he was becoming more popular.
Okay.
Right? This is what he's saying. Probably was something totally different, I don't know. But nevertheless, he said it'll never happen again. He'll never accept another DP. And he was about to get on his music stuff. He had a deal with somebody. He wanted me to look into it. I just never. After that, he had an accident. I seen him at a car accident.
Huh.
Him and his chick, both their heads was cracked.
Damn.
And they was like, we ain't going to the hospital. I'm pretty sure. So then, we ain't going to no hospital. We're going to ride it out. So I just think he going through something. If I had to guess, I think some drugs may be an influence. If so, hopefully he can get a grip of himself.
Yeah, I see the picture. Yeah, you're right. Both him and his girl are all bloodied up.
Yeah.
They're on live, though. You know, when I get into a car accident, last thing I'm thinking is to pull out my phone and go live. But, you know.
He pulled it out.
He pulled it out. Yeah. Yeah, man. Listen, the GNX album, in fact, you know, I
didn't get no pub or nothing on there?
You would think that you would get something, but sometimes it takes a while for that to come in, right?
Yeah,
that might take a year.
I was wondering if he...
Yeah. I mean, look, that's the biggest streamed album of the year by a rapper, GNX. So to be on there, I don't see anything but positivity. I can imagine saying something about Kendrick at all.
I believe he told me he did a deal with Two Loss, a company called Two Loss after that. I did some business with them before. They're a real company. They do good business, but I mean, if they did that with him, I don't know. I haven't talked to him. I was supposed to call in there, but I told him to give me his information on what the terms were because I didn't want to call in there blind.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if he was of same mind when he called me. He was real upset. I don't know if he was sauced out. I didn't know what it was, but I hope he gets back on his horse, man. It keeps galloping, man. I've been setting up for the return of Blueface though. So
yeah. So let's talk about Blueface. He recently apologized to his mom.
Definitely.
For basically letting women come in between their relationship. Krishan has a new boyfriend, right?
She's always got a new boyfriend.
Yeah. This is true. And at one point, Blueface's dad kicked Krishan and her son out of his house.
That's Blueface's home.
Yeah.
I have the legal power of attorney over the home.
Okay.
Over everything. I just honor what nephews say. So Blueface dad is there to watch the house.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Any problems, he'll call Bodine will let me know. That's the pecking order how that works. And, you know, it's whatever Blueface says. So, you know, if you got a chick, you know, that's saying she's elsewhere, then she shouldn't be there. So I'm pretty sure, I don't think he asked him to publicize it and go live doing it. I think he just asked him to go head on and pack her things up, get it ready, get it so she can come get him. But he's gotten the bug, you know. When Rock was there, she would let him get on her lives and so on and so forth. So I think he's like, shit, I ain't had nothing else to post. I'm not missing this opportunity. You know, I ain't mad at him. He do his thing. But what he did was, Rock could never deal with him because you never know with those two. You get what I'm saying? He should have just stayed neutral, packed the stuff up, put it in the garage, wherever, made the call, that's it. The rest of the stuff is gonna have him in a uncomfortable situation if they ever decided to reconcile as they've done many times before. Me personally, nephew, give me those first 6 months, right? To get you focused. I got a crazy rollout for you so I can get you back on track As a man, I'm never trying to tell you what to do. I will advise you what I think you should or shouldn't do.
Yeah. I need that first interview, by the way. We've never done one yet.
Well, you know, you got to remember, you're part of the. I don't think you're saying you're part of the rollout.
Okay.
My whole team. I got Traplord's gonna come out.
Okay.
And do his thing with him, you know, but he does something different.
Right.
He goes, right? Quite naturally, my team, I had you down for the exclusive interview. Academics.
Mm-hmm.
Academics is allowing me to use his paywall, to set up a paywall on the Academy, on his YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. We got a fight set up with Nick Young, Swaggy P.
Wait. Nick Young versus Blueface?
Yeah. We got Swaggy.
I got my money on Nick.
It's a strategy.
I got my money on Nick. Nick was a professional athlete.
Hold on. This is a
I know Nick.
We got a fight scheduled with Swaggy P, Nick Young. He's accepted. My boy Mams is gonna be putting on that fight, right? We have a reality show that I have his mother and R&B putting together. Misfits Boxing. Broadcast is DAZN. You probably familiar with that.
Hold on. Let me see if I can get Nick on the.
Yeah, he gonna tell you.
Hold on.
That's my guy.
I believe you. I just want to get his take. Yeah, what up? It's Vlad.
Hello?
Nick, it's Vlad.
Swaggy, that's Vlad.
Vlad TV.
What's good?
Hey, so Wack revealed on this interview that we're doing right now that you're supposed to fight Blueface when he gets out?
Yeah, he said he was working on it, you know?
Yeah, we good.
I already said I got my money on you.
But see, you know, Swaggy is asked.
They
listen.
for years, man.
Hey, yo, listen. Look, let me tell you what's beautiful about this, though. Let me tell you what I like. For one, Swaggy P's great energy.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
2, they don't have a beef.
Right.
Right? 3, we have our fan base, and you know Swaggy, my brother, he over there sits with, got a, Gilbert. Right, that's a whole
I just did
crowd,
Gilbert's show,
right?
yeah.
So it's gonna be a beautiful situation. So it's like, this is how it's supposed to be. It ain't, oh, fuck you, I'm gonna kill you. No, this is like really the sport about, and we got 2 athletes. Now I don't know, it's Swaggy over there, drinking the Mountain Dews and knocking down them. I don't know what he's doing, but I do know he know how to get in shape. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I'm gonna be calling you probably Friday with my man on the phone so we can start going over the details.
I got a stack on Swaggy P.
All right,
I got
brother.
a stack on Swaggy.
So I've been putting together this role.
All right.
So what we doing is one big thing from the day he steps out, the cameras are rolling.
Okay.
Right? And we got the boxing we gotta do. You got the music he'll be doing, and then we'll be shooting over our reality show. Nick Cannon's assisting us. My whole team is with me. I got in touch with Traplord, and I would love you to come out and do your documentary style thing, move around with him. I put up a whole thing of all of us, everybody involved. I got Swaggy involved.
Okay.
Gilbert is my brother, so I know he's gonna help me on the Swaggy P-side cross-promoting. I got here, I reached the academics to put the actual reality show on the Academy's paywall, right? I got 2 labels that I'm going back and forth with. I think I know where I'm gonna go with it. And we're gonna be doing everything all at once, shooting, him training, him working in the studio, and then we'll start dropping it back to back to back. Then it'll lead us into doing releasing everything and doing this tour and just getting back on track. So that's what I've been working for. But ladies, follow R_ANNB, follow Carlissa, Blueface's mother. They will be announcing that they're going to be accepting videos and auditions. They're gonna be flying ladies out. I think they're starting with 20, 30 of y'all, narrowed it down to the 10 because Blueface is fresh out of love, and he trying to find it again.
Well, you and Traplord Ross got into it.
Well, I thought...
And I got involved.
It was crazy because I didn't know I got into it. It was, I didn't, and me and Remo talked about this the other day. because I told him that you had to get involved. And I believe you are a great help.
Yeah.
Because what he told you, you was able to say, nah, bro, you reading that wrong. He does it to beef. Somebody sends him something. He just
Yeah, listen.
I'm like, I didn't know, but after sitting back, without saying too much, I think sometimes our mind, when you know what I'm saying, and
I think a couple things were going on in this because look, when we were all on No Jumper together, by the way, an epic moment in independent hip hop history. Me, you, academics, Adam, Remo, Traplord Ross, all of us getting along, cool, doing something together. You were pretty tough on
but
Traplord
before
Ross.
that, on the record,
hold on. You were a little hard on him, and that's cool. We all sat there and watched it happen. So I think he probably felt some type of way. So when he put out a documentary, he made a joke about extortion. And that made you mad. So then you called him up, upset. And,
no, but I did know.
You were a little upset. You weren't happy about it.
No, when I
You were stern about it.
No, but when I called him, Vlad, and I'm going to tell you because I've been working on this. R&B makes me work on this. When I called him, I was cool.
I understand that. But I think cool. What my presence sort of helped, kind of fix it.
Because he thought what I did, he took it
See,
wrong.
here's what I think was happening behind the scenes that I think not everyone sort of understood, but me having a vantage point, kind of I got it, right? I think, I explained this to you, you've created a persona for yourself that unless you get to know you well, it'll scare certain people, right? Some people will take it. Some people will think that you're, scarier than you actually are once you get to know you and realize you're a reasonable person, right? Now, on the Traplord Ross side, I think that he reads a lot of stuff. This is what I realized after talking to him and you and so forth. What he does is he creates these documentaries based on people he's never met most times, right? So how does he get his information?
Internet.
The internet. So he takes a lot of stuff on the internet and runs with it, not realizing that a lot of this stuff just is not true. So he starts naming all these things that you allegedly did. And as I'm talking to him, he's like, because and he was extorting Kanye with a sex tape. I said, no, he wasn't.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about?
No, he wasn't. Oh, and he did this too. I'm like, no, he didn't do that either. And then there's this, and I'm like, no, this is something you got on the internet. That didn't really happen. Now, look, but me and you got into it at one point, so I understand what it's like to get into it with you.
No, but he didn't meet that guy.
He didn't meet that guy?
No.
Well, and here's the thing, right? But he thought he was meeting that guy, I think from his point of view. And the thing is what I was trying to explain to you is that we all deal with these types of situations differently. When I got into it with you, I'm like, okay, it's time to get militant and prepare for some bullshit. Someone like him will potentially get scared and, potentially call the police or just start to freak out. Vlad. Right?
So he does what he does. He started it. He called in while Adam's live. He sends Adam some stuff. He sends Remo, Flacco. He sends it to everybody but me. But yet you call and text me all the time, right? So I say, okay, Traplord on some bullshit, right? So when we got in the room that day when we were there, you know what I told Adam? I said, Adam, I'm going to put the heat on Trap. I'm going to be trolling him though, right? Just letting you know. Because I didn't want Adam to think I was tripping, right? So I'm getting my get back. Since you got it on the No Jumper camera, I did it. So in the middle, I let him talk. In the middle, I went at him. This is where it confused me. Afterwards, when we all was sitting in the pool table area talking, taking pictures or whatever, he like, Wack, man, I get what you're saying. I should have sent it to you. Kind of looked like, I said, yeah, bro. So I had to get you back for that. He like, yeah, everything's cool. We laugh, joke, shake hands, cool. But I think the trolls in the comments was on him. I think that's what did it. And when he went to editing and doing his thing, he let me have it. So when I seen it, I'm like, okay, I'm never gonna see him again if I approach him this way. You'll never bait him into the No Jumper building. His request would be, Wack can't be there, right? So I called him. I was calm. I said, bro, what's up with this, that, and other? this, that, and other, right? And he really didn't have too much to say. So he went to texting, right? And as he's texting, he says, yeah, you sent me this. I said, yeah, I don't know what the hell they mean. Like, I know what you mean. I know what you're trying to do. So I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Somebody sent me something. I just sent it to you. I don't know who it's from. But looking back at it, now I understand why he took that personal. People will have things going on in their life and you don't know it, Vlad, and you can send them something, somebody like me, and they can misinterpret that. And that's what happened. Because when he called Remo said, did Wack question you about what he sent you, or did he take a screenshot where you could see the person's full number, time, and date and send it to you? That's what he did. He said if people send Wack things on any of us and he calls himself cool with you, he's gonna send it to you. He ain't gonna question you about it. He's not gonna ask you no questions, nothing. That's him alerting you, not trying to do, but I got it. Maybe it was something going on, and then like you said, he's believing everything I'm like, because he was telling me that. I said, I did what? To who?
Your reputation. I'm listening to stuff. I'm like, no, and I had to tell him, I said, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Yeah, that happened. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. That might have happened. That didn't happen. Because I actually know for real what really happens and doesn't happen. But I get it. Listen, but think about it, right? You live in London. You're not around any of these people.
I get it.
You are completely, based on information between Reddit and YouTube videos and so forth. And look, there are so many weird videos about me. Like Gene Deal's mad at me right now. So,
he's making the videos about you?
He made a video, because my mom wrote a book about her life that she just self-published on Amazon. Okay. They must have got a hold of this book, which is fine because it's a public book. And he did a whole thing about Vlad's parents immigrated in 1978 from Russia, and Vlad's mom went to go work for the Navy. The same year, 2 KGB agents got caught. So clearly, Vlad's mother was the 3rd KGB agent, and she infiltrated the Navy, and it's a whole fucking big thing. And I'm looking at it going like, okay, this is funny. Like I didn't even
I wouldn't even address that.
I'm addressing it because it's funny, right?
No,
But if you take someone like a Traplord Ross who's making a movie about me, he's going to probably include that.
So what
he's going to include the KGB part, right?
As I'm doing a rollout, I called him. I said, hey, brother. I text him. He said, Wack, you really let me? Yeah. He said, you really don't have a problem? I said, look, bro, we kind of have a table. I'm not going to be the one to screw the table up, bro. He said, we have a strong, dominant table.
Yeah.
Right? I said, so I'm not going to be the one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be the bigger man, and I'm going to show you, right, that we're on the same side. And after about a week or two of us going back and forth, something else popped up. I hit him, and then he hit me about. So he said, bro, you really not on no I said, nah, bro, I'm not. Yeah. I said, on top of that, Vlad pretty much called me and told me what it wasn't gonna be. I said, he ain't even let me debate nothing. He said, it ain't gonna be this, it ain't gonna be that, it ain't gonna be this, that. I fixed it, now y'all fix it, and it was cool. So shout out to Traplord. When Blueface comes home, he's definitely gonna shadow him and do his thing. Axe doing what he's doing for us. You gonna do what we're doing for us. Yep. Adam will fill in the blanks or whatever we need to do, and the rest of the team. So, because really, you know how people used to be in pursuit of radio?
Yeah.
What we do is really
it's the new radio.
It's the new radio.
Yeah. Well, Jack Doherty got robbed for $300,000 worth of jewelry on Rodeo Drive.
You see what Lil Baby said?
Yeah, Lil Baby ran into him again on Rodeo, and he's like, you got that same security with you?
You still got that same security with you? He let you get robbed?
Yeah, he's still employing him?
He kind of right, because he didn't show no resistance.
So did his security have a gun on him?
Supposed to, but on this day, he didn't have it.
What's the point of having unarmed security? No, really. Well, what's the point?
I don't know.
Seriously, what's the point?
I don't know. So now it's like, was he part of the play?
I don't know. But to have unarmed security just seems pointless.
So what is it?
Just don't have security at all.
Does Jack just roam Rodeo?
I guess. I don't know. I mean, I will tell you that I'll be really surprised if the guys who did it don't get caught within the next couple months. I'm sure that there's
Oh,
drones
yeah.
that saw where the car is going. They'll know exactly where it's going.
They'll follow you.
They'll follow it all the way back to wherever you started
What
from.
happened with Sauce Walkers, those people, they going to follow you light to light to light to light to light.
Yeah, exactly. So they're going to get followed, and like Rodeo does not take this lightly.
Yeah, they don't want people getting robbed on your Rodeo.
People, let me tell you, Louis Vuitton and Gucci and Dior does not want their customers to think that this is an unsafe area where you'll get robbed in broad daylight, and they'll get away with it.
This Rondo situation, I'm not going to say Lil Durk situation because he's not being found, he hasn't been found guilty. It was direct across the street from the Beverly Center. They going to make an example of that. You don't do jump out gun battles at the gas station across the street from the Beverly Center. You just don't do it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
If you notice, the last few interviews I've done, I've been on a promo run over the Vlad TV YouTube Masterclass, and I haven't been wearing watches. Is because my insurance dropped all the personal policies, and I'm in between policies, so I'm keeping everything in safety deposit boxes at banks. But I got refused by almost every insurance company because of the type of watches I have, as well as the fact they looked up who I was. So that played a role in them actually rejecting me. And I finally...
Wait, hold on. This is
good
crazy,
news. Right?
Oh, this is good news.
Yeah.
So they rejected the white man too.
They rejected the white man, right, exactly. A Jewish guy at that. And I finally got the insurance company, and I have to get something called a TL15 safe, which is a safe that could withstand an actual, like, serious attack for at least 15 minutes, by a seasoned, safe cracker. And I have to really do all this extra stuff in order to get it. So
how
until
much
I
is
get
that safe run?
That safe, I'm getting a used one for $1,500. They're new about between $3,000 and $5,000.
Got you.
Yeah, but this is like the huge, giant, like, rah, pull it over. So I got to have one of those safes, and then I'm going to get insured and so forth. But I don't know why anyone would even step out of the house without insured jewelry.
Wait, so how big is this safe? Do it go on the wall?
It weighs 1,000 pounds. It sits on the floor.
See, but that's a dangerous safe.
No one's going to run off with it.
No, I'm going to tell you why it's dangerous. It's a great safe if nobody's home. It's dangerous if you're home because the extreme that they're going to go to try to make you open that safe.
I'll just open it.
Yeah.
I'm not resisting.
Don't take
It's insured. At the point, and that's the thing that you realize, that when you see people that lose their life over jewelry, there's usually a level of resistance that goes along with it. Pop Smoke, PNB Rock. Neither one of those guys was like, here, take it. It's cool. It's insured. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm not tripping. It's always the, oh no, I'm a rapper. They're going to put my chain on a world tour and I'm going to lose my career.
I'd rather PNB be here to respond.
Exactly.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Then
what happened?
Well.
So that's the whole thing when I try to tell people. It's just like, yo, if you have, I'm not talking about like a little chain or like a little Cartier, $1,000 watch. I'm talking about Rolexes, APs, Richard Milles, like, Patek Philippe's, like those types of watches that are in extremely high demand, that have high resale values, that are worth, in the tens of thousands, if not the hundreds of thousands of dollars. There's no point even taking it outside unless it's insured. And if it's insured and it gets robbed, then that's fine. They'll give you a new watch. You'll pay your deductible. Life goes on, but, Jack Doherty, listen, I was talking to Tony Yeo, like, Jack is
They took like 300 from him, right?
300,000. They didn't get his Richard Mille watch, though. They just got his chains and ran off.
Oh, they left
I guess
his watch.
they couldn't get it off in time. And then, listen, I guess the security guard was like wrestling with one of them, and then the gun got pulled out, and he was like, all right. So it's a weird situation. Are you surprised that it actually happened right there on Rodeo?
Nah, we in trying times now, bro. People are like, there's really no money in the ghetto to go rob for. So it's like, okay, where they're at? They're in Beverly Hills, right? Those people over there are comfortable. They're coming outside like it's no big deal. They're not gonna see it coming, right? And then I'm surprised they don't have law enforcement 24/7 just.
Well, they have drones. There's a sign that says that there are police drones in Beverly Hills when you drive in.
So the drone follow them?
I don't know. Possibly.
Well, it's gonna
I don't think you can get away with something like this in 2025. I just don't think it's possible. Not in Beverly Hills. Not where they care. If it's in a neighborhood where there's a ton of crime and it's like, okay, look, the police are overworked.
You would have to literally mask up, change the plates on the car.
They masked up.
And drive out. You would have to have another vehicle, like way somewhere else, where you're gonna drive out to where the cameras stop tracking you, leave that car, get another one, and double back. But where are those areas? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, because there was a situation some years back where someone robbed someone for Richard Mille right there on Rodeo.
I seen that.
They shot somebody, and they got the watch, but they got caught later on. Everyone in that car got caught. Everyone went to jail. I don't know, man. There's easier ways to make money out there than actual armed robberies in major, high-end areas. I don't know anyone that gets away from that shit. So
people, certain places you don't play with. They're not gonna let you drive the value down.
Yeah,
it's not gonna happen.
Exactly. Shannon Sharpe, what do you think of that whole situation?
I think Shannon should just come out, bro. Like, the same advice I gave Diddy. No means no, right? I'm not tripping on, the age of the female. As long as she was legal, that's your preference, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But no means no. Like, you can be a mid-stroke. If she says no, that's it. I believe he's a different character with the women, but Cat Williams and everybody else was really, Monique, they was really trying to give him some advice, but I think he got to a point to where maybe he thought he was bigger than the program because it's been going on. I see another lady, who said that she met him while he was a ball player and, he kind of took advantage of her. But then again, I don't know because women lie. But then sometimes people get caught up in this role play thing like, okay, I'm going to say no, but that means keep going. I don't play none of them games. The word no in those situations, that's it. It's like a shut-off switch for me. All systems off. I'm out.
Yeah.
I think she jumped the gun. When he offered the $10 million, even if she didn't want to take it, she should have let him close that $100 million deal and then up it to the 50. When they went public, the $100 million off the table now.
Yeah.
That's off the table.
Right, he had to step down from ESPN.
All that's going to happen. He wanted to pay you to keep it hush-hush, get the money to give you the money. Now, they're stringing this thing out 5 years. She could have got the $10 million, kept 7, slammed it in the bank. They'd have paid her 3%, 5% a year on the money. She could have lived off the interest, kept moving.
Yeah, I've been saying that. With $7 million, which is tax-free because this is the type of lawsuit, like an assault lawsuit becomes a tax-free payment. $7 million after Busby takes his 3. At a 5% interest rate, you get $350,000 a year for the rest of your life without touching the 7. Even after taxes, you're left with a lot of money.
What's that?
With just basic financial literacy, you could do it. I don't know why she wouldn't take that. I don't know why.
That's like $30,000 a month.
I don't know why anyone would not take that. But apparently he has a history of choking females. There was another lawsuit that happened at Fox.
But this is another woman.
There's another woman he was dating who claimed that he was raped by her. And,
yeah, I think I'm gonna be real.
That she was raped by him. Sorry, she was raped by him.
I don't think his choking is at the time that kind of choking. I think it was agreed upon.
It was a BDSM relationship.
Yes, and I think
They
now
were choking each other, probably.
Yeah, now they're gonna, he choked me. But I'm gonna be real. I'll say this respectfully. I've never had sex with a Caucasian lady
In life?
in life.
Okay.
Because I grew up watching these movies, Mississippi Burning, Rosewood, movies like this, to where if the lady came out and lied, they killed everybody black.
Like,
So it's a mental block.
Emmett Till?
Yeah, no disrespect. It's a mental block. And here in America, especially when he said what he said on the phone, big black guy chokes little white woman. I don't know, you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that was his thing. They had like a role play thing going on. She was like, "Oh, I want you to put that big black baby in me," and there's all types of weird racial
all
play.
that comes from back in those days,
Yeah.
where the real racial role plays,
Yeah.
that is in benefit of her, because the minute he can't flip it.
Right.
There's nothing he can say to flip it to work in his favor.
Yeah, you saw with Jonathan Majors. Yeah, he lost a whole Marvel deal over that.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, I mean, look, me and Shannon have not had the best relationship. We haven't been all that cool. He's done some stuff that's sideways. I've said some stuff about him. I'm currently blocked. It's whatever. Hopefully, I hope he can get out of it, because this is a messed up situation to be in for what seemed like a consensual relationship.
Yeah.
And it's sad that anything can be painted a certain type of way.
Whenever they want to do
and
it.
it's becoming harder and harder to just have relationships with women that you don't fully know, or that you even do know. At
Brother,
the point that they
listen.
turn against you, it's like, then you got like,
Brother,
well, the
listen.
threat of public embarrassment, the threat of losing deals and so forth. I'm going to tell you this to all the men watching, is you're better off if someone's trying to threaten you or extort you, just let them do what they're going to do. Go ahead. Put it all out there. It's better than feeling like you're going to be ATM to that person. Because whatever you pay them, they're going to spend it. And they'll come back and
They're
get
gonna
more.
come back again.
With the same threat. The agreements don't matter.
That's real.
Go and let them put it out, or go to the police and say you're being extorted.
Yeah,
That's one way to
this
shut
is,
it down.
It's unfortunate. I hope he survives it. The brother had a great show. But hopefully he learns from it, and other people learn from it as well. Like, right and wrong is one thing, politics is another, and we all live it in America. So based upon those factors, you still have to move a certain way. Regardless of what somebody else says they will or they won't do, you have to position yourself that even if they attempt to do it, it's not there for them to do it. And I think that's, where he fell short at. So, jeez.
Yeah. That's what it is. Wack 100. Always a pleasure. Till next time.
Always. We out.
Peace.